the floor to the representative of Germany.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wish to thank Undersecretary General Lynn Pascoe for his comprehensive briefing and the Permanent Observer of Palestine for his statement. Germany aligns herself with a statement to be delivered later on by the delegation of the European Union on behalf of the Union. Mr. President, for too long, the peoples in the Middle East have suffered from conflict and confrontation. They aspire to peace, freedom, and a decent living. It is our long-standing conviction that good governance, the rule of law, and religious tolerance, including protection of religious minorities, form the basic pillars upon which durable stability and prosperity are based. It is time to finally make decisive progress towards a peaceful solution of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. A just, lasting, and comprehensive solution is needed if we want to prevent the conflict from continuing to overshadow the lives of millions of people and from being a catalyst of extremism and violence. A continuation of the current impasse is not an option. The aim is clear. We want to see the State of Israel and a sovereign, independent, democratic, contiguous, and viable State of Palestine living side by side in peace and security. The objective is shared by practically the entire international community and has repeatedly been endorsed by the parties themselves. We remain convinced there's no viable alternative to this two-state solution. There's also broad international consensus about the key parameters of the solution. Borders based on the 1967 lines with agreed territorial swaps. Jerusalem as the future capital of two states. An agreed, just, fair, and realistic solution to the refugee question, and arrangements that ensure the security both collective and individual of the Israeli and Palestinian people. Progress towards this goal is urgently needed. I would like to make 4 points which we believe are fundamental to making progress. First, sustainable peace can only be achieved through negotiations. We urge both parties to return to direct negotiations and to engage in substance on final status issues. Negotiations which are being led with the aim to achieve a framework agreement within the 12-month period defined by the Middle East Quartet. Secondly, both sides must work hard on creating an atmosphere conducive to progress. This includes abiding by international law and previous commitments, particularly by the provisions of the roadmap. As the EU has consistently and repeatedly made clear, the continuation of settlement activity in the occupied Palestinian territories is illegal under international law and an obstacle to peace. It must stop. At the same time, the Palestinian side must refrain from incitement and violence. Thirdly, Palestinian state building needs to be continued. Sustainable peace will have to rest on two pillars: a negotiated settlement and viable institutions of the future state of Palestine. We congratulate the Palestinian National Authority on the progress achieved so far in institution building, including on implementation of the Fayyad Plan. Fourthly, Gaza. If we are to prevent further isolation and radicalization of the population in Gaza, the policy of closure must end. Recent decisions by the government of Israel to ease access to and exports from Gaza are steps in the right direction. These decisions need to be fully implemented. Import and export flows should return to the pre-2007 levels. Complementary measures are necessary to allow for the economic recovery of Gaza while addressing Israel's legitimate security concerns. In this respect, we call for the full implementation of Security Council Resolution 1860, and we remain seriously concerned about the fate of the Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit, who has been in captivity for much too long. He must be released without further delay. Germany commends the tireless efforts and valuable services delivered by the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. for Palestine refugees in the Near East and will this year continue to support for UNRWA by contributing an additional amount of $8 million US. Finally, strong support by the international community is crucial for progress in the peace process. We need an even more active role of the Middle East Quartet. We welcome the Quartet meeting of principles in Munich, scheduled for the 5th of February, and expect a strong political signal in this regard. Active backing from the Arab states is necessary to create an atmosphere conducive to progress. We need to send a clear and unambiguous message that we stick to our shared vision of two states living side by side in peace and security. We need to be clear about the parameters of such a solution and about our willingness to support its implementation as required. The international community stands ready to invest considerably in a peaceful settlement and to help shape the way forward. But only the parties themselves can make the crucial compromises and lay the foundations for a better future. It is up to them to take the decisive steps and commit themselves unambiguously. With regard to Lebanon, we call on all parties to abide by their obligations under Resolution 1701. I would like to recall that the decision to establish a special tribunal has been made following a request by Lebanon and on the basis of negotiations between Lebanon and the UN. It has been created in order to bring stability to the country and to end impunity by prosecuting persons responsible for the attack of the 14th February in 2005. The reasons for establishing the special tribunal remain valid. Germany calls on all parties to support the important work of the tribunal, to respect its independence, and to refrain from political interference and coercion. The successful conclusion of the work of the special tribunal is essential for the long-term stability in Lebanon. Germany will continue to support the tribunal. Regional efforts that aim at stabilizing the situation are very welcome. At the same time, we cannot compromise when it comes to justice. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of Germany for his statement. And now